Well, again, my name is Cathy Paessun. I am the director of the Central Ohio Diabetes Association. And just for fun, if you can, grab a pen, have a piece of paper in front of you. I'm going to introduce myself in a little more detail. And every time I say something that you and I have in common, I want you to make a hash mark on that piece of paper. It'll be a contest. We'll see who I have the most in common with. So, I started my career in advertising. I worked for advertising agencies for about 10 years, and if you ever watch Mad Men, it wasn't that different in the 80s. So that was a lot of fun, great experience. That I also am proud alum of OSU, bachelor's degree from here in communications. Started working in advertising, was there about 10 years, and then I went to the former Bank One Corporation, and I was there working on external and internal communications. My career has been focused on communicating with a customer of some sort, communicating outside of the four walls of my employer. It hit midlife, or what used to be midlife, because now is midlife. I've got lots of living left to do. But decided, corporate life has some real advantages with the zeros after the first number, but that was about it. So I went back to school, got a master's of science in nonprofit management, and walked away from Bank One and decided that I wanted to devote myself to nonprofit work. I was far more interested in building up my soul than in building up my bank account. And it has been the best decision I've ever made. I consulted for about 7 years, and since then I was, starting in 2008 then, I was the executive director of the March of Dimes. I was then the executive director of JDRF, and I am now very proud to say, after national experience as a professional fundraiser, working with people to help them understand why they want to invest their dollars in research, I work with the Central Ohio Diabetes Association, working with clients on a day-to-day basis and helping them connect with the services that they need. Central Ohio Diabetes Association, CODA, it has become part of Life Care Alliance. And so I will continue on. So here's another one. See if you hashtag this. Before I got up here, I had no idea what I was going to say. Before I came this morning, I truly had no idea what possible input I could have for you all that would be pertinent or would be interesting. And thanks to Jeff and his insight, he was right in bringing someone like me to something like this. So here's what I'm going to say. First and foremost, darn it all, don't you hate when the tape falls apart? But first and foremost, thank you for including community stakeholders in what you're doing. That's absolutely amazing. And hopefully what you will find is so much better in the long run. What I will tell you is when you call an agency these days and say, hey, you want to get involved, you have much more of a possibility of coming across someone like me than what I would call the traditional nonprofit executive. Nonprofits have gone through an incredible change over the past at least 20 years. And there are a whole bunch more of us corporate types working and running nonprofits than in the, previously it was more the social workers, people with a passion for the cause, that sort of thing. That's a key thing to keep in mind. Just bear in mind who you're talking to and how to find that level playing field and common language among you all. Also, find out how many clients do they really have. CODA right now doesn't have many. We're going through sort of a dip in our evolution, and we're not a place to come up with a whole bunch of clients who are dying to get together and talk about whatever. So really ask pertinent questions. How many clients? What's the location? So on and so forth. Find out everything you can about the agency, because we're going to want to know, where is the place of the research going to happen? One of the things that CODA does, and does very, very well, is summer camp for kids with type 1 diabetes. And people might think, hey, can we come to camp? Well, hopefully you all probably know, no, you can't come to camp. It's a medically supervised camp. It breaks every HIPAA, everything. So keep that sort of thing in mind as well. How are we going to get these people together? Where are we going to get them together? And if it's going to be here, I'm here to tell you, this place is a nightmare. It is a nightmare. For those of us who don't work here, I'm a smart woman. I have a master's degree. I was in the other building. A total stranger had to say, no, ma'am, I think you need to be over there. And, this place, and it changes every 5 minutes. And I know to those of you who work here, you're used to it. To the rest of us, it's like anxiety producing. It truly is. But I got through it. I'm here. So proud of myself. What I will say also is, as you're working with nonprofits, keep the mindset of the clients involved as well. The adults with type 2 feel very blamed for their condition, and it's a darn shame that in the awareness raising, that was the message that came across, but it is. Kids with type 1 feel very isolated. They feel weird. They feel different from everyone else. See what you can find out about what these people are thinking in the meantime. Jeff, you're totally going to have to do this because I get in front of a microphone and I'm like, woo, all right. So also, and this, with the advent of the EHR, we have more and better information. We also have to be so much more protective of that information about our clients. This is new to me. I have never worked in a medical situation at all in any way, shape, or form before. This is all new, that all of my emails have to be secured and say external and that sort of thing. It's very different. So remember, we are potentially, as nonprofit partners, maybe a little more protective than we used to have to be. Just be real super honest and open as much as you can about the length of the project and exactly what you need from the nonprofit partner, the staff, as well as the clients. Because believe it or not, we're not really... Some people are going to be totally into it and they're going to want to know everything. But most everyone wants to come in and say, what do you need to know? Now let me out of here. I'm happy to help, but this isn't my life. This isn't my real keen interest. Happy to help, but I need to move on. So if something's going to be a 5-question questionnaire, or if something's going to be, we need you to come in every week for 13 weeks, just try to be as clear and as open about that as possible. We have very different perspectives, and we speak very different languages. And sometimes we use the same words to mean something entirely different. And I would just ask that you help us understand what it is that you're saying and what it is that you need, and maybe try to find ways to make sure that we're really understanding everything. Unfortunately, I know you guys have other things to do. I could be up here all day because I just can't thank you enough, and I can't advocate enough for people who are dealing with different issues that we would love more and better information on. A quick advertisement for myself. Diabetes statistics are virtually non-existent. What we go by are estimates from the CDC that are then just kind of parsed down state by state. I would love to have good diabetes statistics in the state of Ohio, and I would love to work with someone to do that. I have no idea where to even begin on that. Fortunately, others have taken that. There is actually legislation in the House right now. But there are things that we want to do. We don't even know how to get started. So I just can't thank you enough, and especially thanks to Jeff for including me. And I look forward to hopefully working with some of you someday. Thank you. Oh, wait. Did anyone have any hashtags? How many? 5? 4? 4. All right. Okay, I've got a 4. Woo! Thank you. Thank you so much.